Hey there nation, welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back with another episode of Hobbyside. And on this episode, we will be taking a look at our studio's 3,000 Point Wood Elf Army. And as you can see here, it is fully laid out for you guys to take a look at it. So this is our showcase video just illustrating the army that we use for our Warhammer Fantasy Battle Reports for the Golden Age. And this army is anywhere between 2,500 to 3,000 points, depending on how we kit it out and how we use it. So you can see here, it just looks absolutely fantastic and it looks awesome on the battlefield, and it plays really, really well as well. What's interesting about this army is that this army is very different from most Wood Elf armies in that the sense that this army is actually a Forest Spirits army, which means that we don't really have any Wood Elves per se. The only thing we really have for the most part are Forest Spirits. Things like Treemen, Treemen. The only thing that we basically have that's almost close to Wood Elves is actually this dragon model here, which we use for the Sisters of Twilight. Is what we use. Everything else, though, is a Forest Spirit of some sort. Now, the reason why we have this army is because when Warhammer Age of Sigmar came out, the very first army that I used for that gaming system was a Sylvaneth army. In fact, that was the very first army I used for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. If you guys ever watched our Age of the Realms content, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This was the army that I used all the time. In fact, when the very first game came out, I actually was on a guest appearance on Vince Vitrilla's weekly show, Warhammer Wednesdays, where we actually talked about using Sylvaneth. It's like a couple of years back, but it was actually really cool. It was a really cool video to work on. So as you can see here, what we have here are basically 3 units of 20 dryads apiece. We have 2 units of 6 Treemen. We have a Treeman. We have the special character Durthu. We have a Treeman Ancient. And lastly, we have the Forest Dragon for the Twilight, Sisters of Twilight. So you see it looks like a really awesome miniature. It just looks really, really awesome as well. So yeah, as always, we'll be talking about exactly how we designed this army up and what we painted it for. And also talk about the design concept and what miniatures these models came from. So right off the bat, the dryads, as you see here, those are actually from Games Workshop. These are actual Games Workshop Citadel dryads. And what I did is I bought back when Warhammer 8th edition was still around and they actually did the release of the Wood Elves, they actually released a box set of Forest Spirits. And inside that box, you got 3 Treemen, I think something like 40, I think it was 40 dryads, which you ended up getting from that box set. So you can actually get quite a bit. So I bought that at my local gaming store because I was really into making a Wood Elf army at that time. I wanted to make a completely Forest Spirit Wood Elf army. And I got the idea from watching Gamer Girl Joey. She was a YouTuber. I don't know if she's still active anymore, actually. It's been years since I've seen any new content from her. But Wargamer Girl Joey, she actually had a Forest Spirit Wood Elf army that she used for the 6th and 7th edition of Warhammer Fantasy Battle. And it was really, really cool. It was really inspiring. So I thought it looked really awesome. Plus, the Treemen models looked really, really cool. So I decided to kind of, jump on the bandwagon and kind of work on that. So that's where these dryads came from for the most part. So these ones here, they're really easy to paint up. This one is a combination of just normal dryads, traditional with the brown wood and green leaves, as well as my autumn-themed dryads. So we got some bird scene on the skirts of the leaves. We also got some gold leaves on there as well. Make a look at their autumns. So that's this unit is. This unit here, which is led by Dryka, that's Dryka, the special character. I got units of dryads with a gray wood with lilac and lavender color leaves, as well as a winter-themed quote-unquote look here with a mint green on the leaves and dark brown on the bark. So it looked really awesome on that, led by Dryka. Now this miniature is actually a conversion. I took a Lich from Reaper Mini. So that's the torso there, and I cut off the arms and the head, and I placed the head and the arms with dryad arms and head to make it look like Drykas, and I painted her up dustily, so it looks really, really cool. And then finally I have this other unit here of dryads, which are kind of colored my spring and summer look. We have yellowish colored bark with green leaves, and then green bark, greener bark and yellow bark with fresh green leaves as well. We also use some turquoise as accent colors for these guys as well. And that's how we paint up these 3 units of dryads. If you're wondering what the base is made out of, the bases are just made out of sand with wood glue. What I did is I painted the bases with a forest green color, and then I dry brushed it with territorial beige, Bible barrel paint, and rimmed the bases as well to give this kind of like forested overgrowth look and a nice neutral color that makes it blend really well with the greens and everything else on these guys. So yeah, these are my 3 units of dryads. Originally I had 6 units of 10 dryads apiece, or 3 units of 20 dryads to use in Warhammer Ages Sigmar. Now, back here I got 2 units of Treemen. Each is 6 miniatures each. If you guys ever watched Age of Sigmar, you guys have seen these quite a bit. I use these guys for Kurnoth Hunter proxies. So you see these look really, really awesome as well. Pretty much I basically use 2 types of miniatures to make these 2 units. The first type of miniature are these smaller Treemen here, as you can see here. Those guys actually came from Mantic Games' King of War. I believe they're called Forest Elementals or something like that. They're basically like Treemen. They're made out of pewter. But you got like a box of 3 of them for like $30 at the time that I bought them. It was an excellent deal. So I bought those originally because I thought those were like the only things I could make for Treemen that were cheaper, until I found these big, huge ones, these big old boys right here. These guys are Forest Elementals by Reaper Mini, and these things are even better because they're only $3 a piece for each one of these Forest Elementals. Unfortunately, I didn't know about these Forest Elementals when I bought these earlier Mantic Game ones, so I did feel kind of bad about that. I was like, oh man, because I could have totally saved a ton of money by just buying nothing but those, but I digress. So you can see here, they look really awesome. They got mushrooms and moss and vines growing all over them. Just really awesome to paint. They looked really, really awesome too. So I got 2 units of 6 for these guys as well. Just love the detail on these miniatures. They just look very, textured and detailed and everything. They look really, really awesome as well. All right, next up, let's talk about this Forest Dragon miniature here. So this is the Forest Dragon miniature. Now, this is actually from the 4th edition of Warhammer Fantasy Battle. Back when Wood Elves was around for those guys, they came out with an all-pewter miniature of a Forest Dragon. Looks exactly like this. And on the back was a rider that used to sit right here. It was just like a Wood Elf Lord, with a lance or something like that. But the miniature for it just looked really awesome. You hadn't seen anything like this at the time that this came out. You had like these leaf-looking scales, had saw-like teeth, a really long snout, had very pronounced hands. Very, very large. It just looked all kinds of awesome. So because of that, I was able to find this kit, this Forest Dragon kit. I was able to find the dragon miniature by itself and be able to buy it secondhand from my local gaming store. But it didn't come with a figurine on it though. So I use this for my proxy for the Twilight Sisters, just because I don't feel like buying, more box sets to just put 2 little Wood Elves on the top. I just pretend that they're there and does exactly the same thing, the same live one at the same time. And then finally, the Pièce de Resistance, my 3 Tree Lords, or Treemen. Tree Lords is the name that Age of Sigmar gave them. So these guys are, of course, Games Workshop kits, and like I said before, it's because it came with a box set that I purchased when I bought this kit, and they look all kinds of awesome. These are some of the best sculpts that Games Workshop made. In fact, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys, it was these miniatures and the way they sculpt them that actually turned me on to these guys at the very beginning. And the reason why I decided to play Wood Elves at all was because of these Treemen. They just look really, really cool. I thought it'd be awesome to play, so because of that, I purchased these to do that. So as you can see here, they got very distinct paint schemes. So we got this Treemen here. He's pretty much like your traditional Treemen look with this kind of like beige, foresty, ethereal stuff with the green and the browns and the oranges. They look kind of autumnal. This is my favorite one that I painted, which was Durthu. This guy was awesome. In fact, I based his miniature colors off of the painting tutorial that Duncan Rhodes did for Games Workshop. Except I didn't use the Citadel paints, I just used my own Apple Barrel paints to do it. But I followed that tutorial to the letter with how to make the flaming effects and stuff and the flaming sword, and it just came out really, really cool looking. This is actually one of my favorite miniatures ever painted. This guy's just so expressive and just so cool looking as well. But Yeah, and the only difference between... Oh, actually, I take it back. I didn't follow 100% with Duncan Rhodes' instruction. The leaves I actually painted with orange to make it look like it was kind of like fallish, kind of to kind of blend in with the sword. But aside from that, everything else, follow the tutorial for that. And then, of course, we have this guy here, which is the Treemen Ancient. Same thing with the beige kind of color for the ethereal aspects of it, but I wanted to go like a dark green color for him. And to add a little bit more of an ethereal look and an otherworldly look, I made the leaves lilac on his leaves as well to make them look really stand out. And of course, you got your tendrils there to make it look really, really cool. But yeah, these are my miniatures for the Treemen, Treekin, the Dryads, as well as the Forest Dragon. So that's good to do for this one, you guys. Hope you really enjoyed our look at the Wood Elves for Warhammer Fantasy Battle. As always, if you guys have any comments, like and or subscribe, your guys' input is valuable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blog.com for all the latest greatest hobby news related to our channel. That's good to do for this one, you guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out and stay classy, you guys.